All right, welcome everybody to Lisa Hightower Vibes. I am beyond elated again to be shooting the show. I'm shooting the show. I'm shooting my shot. Shay just told us before the show started she was shooting her shot. Shay, what's the point of you being on the show today?
I'm looking for a man.
I mean, it's so outside of what we planned.
Own the horse, not be on the horse. Own the horse.
I know that's right. Come on and ride. You know what? I found out that song is not about riding a horse. I think riding the white horse is about cocaine, someone told me.
Oh, yeah, it is.
What the heck? See, you better watch what you're singing.
No cocaine.
No cocaine either.
I'm not doing it.
See how we don't know what we're singing? That's why I try to be very intentional when I sing. I just try to be very effective in my. All right, it's about the intention.
The intention, because you can say one word, but what do you put into that word?
Okay, Dr. Sharon.
Yeah.
Break that down for people that just don't know. Y'all, we'll get back to what the subject is, but we're kind of sliding into it. So talk about that in terms of how words are containers. I remember that used to be like a very powerful message you used to tell people. Words are containers.
Everything is about energy. So, I mean, if I say the flower is red, for some people it may mean a color, but for other people it may mean danger, because red is an indicator. A lot of times they use as danger. Oh, yeah, you know, right? So, it's the energy that you put into the word that actually... Well, it ignites your life. Everybody may not get it, but it's what you are giving forth, that energy that you're giving forth into the universe.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon.
You're welcome.
You guys, welcome to Lisa Hightower Vibes. I am so excited again to be doing a show. So let's kind of describe it a little bit, because I think people are like, why is it called Vibes? So y'all know Black folks always shorten something and make it something different. It really stands for vibration. But have you ever been around people and they're like, man, you give me vibes, man. You give me good vibes. Sometimes they don't even say good. They just say you're singing, it give me them vibes. Like someone said to me yesterday, your singing gives me chills. Mm-hmm. So I take it like you're really saying, when I sing, it touches something so deep in you that it makes your frequency, your vibration, your feeling good side feel better. Or maybe you didn't feel so good and it feels better. I hope that it does that. A lady that I performed at Vibez Vegan Cafe here in Fountain Hills. Woo woo! Good food, good energy, good lady. She built this whole place out herself as the leader. Yes, there was someone else helping her, but she was the leader and the key person building out her spot. So I'm shouting her out. Yes. Now look, the rest of y'all that get shout outs, we don't mind doing that, but we like to have your sponsorship. We'll talk about that later. So when she came up to me with tears in her eyes, because she said, no, she started talking and she got tears. She said it wasn't the song, the words, she said it was a note that you hit. Oh. She said you hit this one note and then all of a sudden she started welling up with tears, like she was reliving that. And I'm like, now that's, you know my line, now that's why I sing.
Yeah, isn't that awesome though, that it's never the same. It just is dependent upon who is receiving. Yep. It's the giving and receiving. Mm-hmm. That's really the energy exchange.
That is true.
You know, so wherever that hit in her vibration, or where she was, it could have been a past memory, it could have been the current memory, but whatever, it caused something to shift in her life. So that's why we can't even be connected with the outcome of things. Yeah. You know, like you want to stay there because, oh my God, this happened, so maybe I can redo it again so I get the same results. But we can't get connected so much with those end results, because then we'll be stuck. We'll be stuck with the past. But we don't want to stay in the past. We want to go forward.
That is good. Okay, so you're saying like if you're trying to get let me use music. Mm-hmm. So, and then we've talked about this a lot. So by the way, Sharon is my husband manager. I don't care what she say though. She's my manager. She be trying her best to quit, but I be like, can you do this real quick? I'm just trying to keep her connected, but she's not going anywhere anyway. She believes in me. I'm just saying. That's my mama's sister friend. So what was I saying?
We were talking about that energy, that vibration. And
I was going to say, as it relates to being on the stage. So I can remember a lot of times I'll be like, after a show, when you were in like full in the thick of it as a manager, and I say, oh my gosh, show was so incredible. I want to see how we can do that same thing for the next show. And you would typically say, well, you don't want to recreate. You can't. As a matter of fact, that's gone. When it happened, it happened. Mm-hmm. And it's not in the present. You have to create, even from the standpoint of knowing that it's going to get better, mm-hmm. gooder, greater, more expansion, because that's why one thing happens, so you can build on that platform. Oh, by the way, you guys, this is Sharon Waters. Did I tell you that? This is Sharon Waters. I'm Lisa, the Oracle Hightower. This is Sharon Waters, or Dr. Sharon Waters, and Sharon is, it's kind of hard to describe her, but if I described her in one word, I tell people this, I would describe her as love. She, yeah.
Yeah, love is my thing.
Yeah, that's her thing.
Yeah, and not in the typical sense that some might want to put it in just one little category.
Oh, well, let me tell them why I say that. Because Sharon does not hold stuff. I almost cussed, but my Aunt Mary might be watching. and my Aunt Stella May. They be saying, you know, Lisa was on there, and honey, she could Mr. Cussing. What happened to her? But off camera, when I need to, because every word and every language is good when you need to release something. Better in than out, or better out than in. So, what was I saying? It was important.
This is how we be talking.
This is how we talk. It's conversation.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. It was important too. Look at Shay, can't help me.
I can, because I went to
engineering. That's what I was going to say, because she doesn't hold stuff. That was my point, that she doesn't hold stuff. And so when I say she doesn't hold stuff, she can forgive people just like that. I have to work at it. I'm just going to be honest. And it's a work that I've gotten way better at, because I got a great reflection. Because sometimes, and I'm sure, you know, anybody you hang around, I'm sure things have gotten better or different in your life from being around me and other people that you're around.
Absolutely.
So that's why that's why it's important to be around people that are different than you and have things that they do better than you.
Yeah.
Because
unless you want to keep duplicating yourself over
yes.
and over, and that same stuff over and over again.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So our topic today is believe, and we're kind of already into that. This is why I chose the topic. For one, I have a song called Believe, and two, and that may be 1A and 1AB, or whatever, is that the song that I wrote is inspired by this lady. Y'all want me to sing a little bit so y'all can know how it goes?
You're going to give us an A and a B.
I'm just going to give you an A, and then you'll look in the link and you can go get the song. It's I still believe in fairy tales and wishing wells, great endings and love stories. All these things exist in me. I do believe. I do believe. Da, 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 da. So y'all want to know how I wrote this song? So I wrote this song one day. I was hanging out with, I call her Shay, so you'll know. But I didn't say y'all could call her that. You have to ask her. But I call her Shay, and I was hanging out with her one day, and she was going through her own life stuff. And again, she can tell her own business. But it was related to love and her transforming and transferring into another situation. But however, she was feeling the pain, right? Mm-hmm. The pain of where she was at and where she was going. Mm-hmm. And so it was like a moment of being lovesick. And I was like, oh, Lord, help my mama, sister, friend. Help her. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to comfort her. And I distinctly remember going into my basement where my keyboard was set up. And I just started playing these two chords. And when I started playing these two chords, I reiterated not what she was saying in that moment per se, because in that moment she was just feeling the pain and letting it be. But I reiterated, and you'll find out more, that she is a speaker. She was teaching and speaking, and the message was about unconditional love and her not giving up on love no matter what the circumstance looked like. And specifically, she said, I don't care, no matter what goes on, I still believe in fairy tales. I still believe, in love stories. I still believe that love is happening for me and in me. And so that's how I wrote. I still believe in fairy tales and wishing wells, great endings and love stories. And this is the important part. All these things exist in me. Because your teaching was all about what? It has to come from the inside out.
The inside, yeah. It has to, you reflect it out and you draw into you.
Yeah.
Actually, we draw those things that we desire to the most ultimate of our existence and our being. We draw those things into us. So even if you see things that you like, oh my God, I don't know if that's me, I don't know. Well, there's something in there that's trying to get your attention and identify that there is something in you. And whether you need to learn how to grow and, take that as a positive and become larger in who you are, because that may be taking up some space and, that you don't want to exist inside your life.
So you saying no matter what, it's whatever's happening is outside of us is what's happening inside of us in some way?
In some form or another. We just, and don't become so technical. Don't become like the investigator to always want to find that little thing. Let life happen. I mean, we gotta learn how to have ease, joy, and glory in life. Like become at ease with what's going on. Sometimes it's hard. Trust me, I know it's difficult sometimes, and you want to buck up against it. You want to find the answer. You want the answer, and I want the answer right now.
Right.
But to find that place of ease, that there's a flow. I guess I'm not, my last name right now is Waters, and so it's nice flowing. It's not by chance that the universe gifted me with that last name.
Yeah.
I'm like a nice flowing kind of person. So, but even in the flowing, sometimes you hit the rocks, don't you? That water hits them rocks, or the waves get strong or whatever. But you just got to allow that flow to come, because everything always works out for your good.
That's good. So what I think about when you're talking is about, so I said everything that's happening outside of you is happening inside, and you said don't grip it, don't religiousize it. Don't make it, like this, we make up words. And so I think the importance of that, to remember that everything that's happening outside of you is happening inside of you, is because it gives you your power back. It brings you back to power. Because if you're responsible for it, or if you're responding to your ability, if you're responsible, that means you can really respond to your ability and change it, transform it, make it something different. So let's talk a little bit about the word believe, since that's what the quote unquote topic is. So when you think of believe, what does that land for you?
I have many things like around believe, and as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of be in the existence of who you are.
Just be.
And then leave where you were.
Woo!
Leave. I'm going forward, because everything should be us going forward and not going back. But sometimes, you gotta say,
wait a minute. Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. So you're saying, now that for real, that's powerful. For real. So y'all have to know, I get like the way she does with me singing. She said no matter what, she can still enjoy my singing after whatever 25 years of knowing me.
I can.
I feel that way when she speaks, because sometimes the wisdom and the inside, those nuggets are so good. So if you can catch this, if you're trying to figure out how do I change something in my life, you're saying just be, which is to be present with yourself, be in the moment, and leave the past, even whether it's something good that happened yesterday or something bad. You leave that and you step into the present moment, and that's how you can, I guess, be in faith.
You can. And not dismissing, it's energy. We are energy beings. God created us to be these energy beings. If you don't believe in God, whoever you believe in, whatever. But we have this energy force. So if we be that energy, which is what? Complete, whole, nothing lacking, nothing missing, these divine beings, and we leave, I have to quit focusing on what was behind me. I want to be, like you said, present in where I am right now. Present with this right here. I may not like my situation or the scenario around me, but the being of who I am, shoot, this is awesome. Come on now. This right here. If you ever let yourself just acknowledge that and be with that, be there, and then leave your thoughts behind about
God is so good.
And go forward. It's automatically going to take you forward because that's the way life is. It's always moving forward. Life is never going back.
I know what happened to what she had on before. Now, I told y'all I'm an artist. I'm creative, right?
Yeah.
So we had like a little break. We had to go, well, no, hold on. The videographer had to go do something. He had to go make some more money somewhere else. He wasn't thinking about us, but he loves us, so he came back. So in his coming back, I said, well, since he's gone, you know when how does it say what is away, the mouse will play, the cat's away. The mouse will play. So I like to play with clothes and outfits and all that stuff. So I know y'all saw me with like a jumpsuit on. When I walked in, he said, what? So this is actually the same thing, y'all. I just tuck in and then put a different shirt on, and it made me have on a different outfit. Hey, I be who I be. Y'all like the red? Y'all like the blue together? I think it looks good.
Yeah.
All right.
Looks good.
So here's where we are. I think I know you well enough to know that when you are sharing anything, a nugget or otherwise, a teaching moment, that you always like something practical, right? So we were talking about belief. So just can you just go back over that just a little bit, and then I'm going to bring in some type of story that connects with that. You give me that look like, now child, you know I don't remember everything.
I know, right? You know I don't remember.
I told y'all.
It's like a download sometimes.
Exactly.
I get downloaded and then I just let it go. So if I hold on to things, I find out that for me, it doesn't work good in my body. So that's why I have to have a free flow. I'm just kind of a free flow kind of person. So if you just talk
The best I can.
about
Okay, so
something, what about beliefs?
So what I liked is that you liked, what do we call it? The etymology of a word, and how we go back and study where the word came from, and or we break the word up so we see, that's still the etymology of a word though, to see where this word came from. So you took the word believe, because I said, what does believe mean to me? And you literally took the word be as the most important part of that word. I mean, initially, as the foundation.
Oh, right.
And then the leave, rather than Lieve, you made it, what is that, a homonym? Leave, right? And so I loved it how you did that, because you were saying in order to be the essence of who we are and be in the moment, be present, then you have to leave where you came from.
And that is your believing. So believing means that I'm connected with something. It's my all. When I'm believing, I have my thoughts in there. I have my presence in there. I have everything in there. So if I just be in that essence of oneness with myself, without any particulars around it, not trying to make up anything, not trying to make it feel a certain way or do a certain thing, but just in that moment when I'm okay with allowing myself to be okay with myself, and then that means automatically I'm leaving behind all of those past thoughts, all that negativity maybe that I thought about myself, or I couldn't make it, or I couldn't do it, or is it possible? No, but I'm just right here, and that is the manifestation, or that is the actuality of believing. I see it. It shows up. That's the belief right there that shows up, because I was being and I left. I leave behind. Believe.
I mean, I have like 50 thoughts that came when you were talking about that examples. You said like it's related to being able to leave things behind. So I want to talk about that. And then the other thing is, I guess the essence of how we move in life with what letting things go. So letting things go so that we can get to the next place, right? So I think the most practical example, do you know what I'm gonna say?
Oh my God. Whatever. Oh God.
Telepathy. Sometimes
I probably know it, but
right.
go ahead.
So what I was gonna say about leaving things behind, freaking Phoenix, Arizona. Talking about leaving things behind. I mean, I got my story, you got your story, and Kimberly, who also came along with us.
Yeah.
She has her story in terms of leaving things. So by the way,
Hi Kim.
Hey Kimberly, 3 ladies took up or let go or left everything, quote unquote, behind, and believed in their own being, in essence, who they were enough to move to Arizona, not knowing where we were going to stay, not knowing what kind of work we were going to do.
Yeah.
And for me, having artist money, which is sporadic in some timings and according to what's happening in the moment, and whoa, I'll tell my story and then you can tell yours about believing. Let me tell y'all something. So before we moved here, so a decision had been made that we all three were going to move here. That's great. So of course that means you got to share. We got to share the expenses, share the costs. You know, we all got rid of a lot of stuff. Shay more than most because she had a huge home, a whole nother different, scenario than what I was experiencing as an artist. I was in and out on the road.
Yeah.
So here we are about, oh my goodness, the week leading up to leaving. I'm internally freaking out a little bit because I'm like, oh my gosh, they got their money. Let's see, Kim's got her money. Shay's got her money. I do not have my money. But I'm still going. I'm moving. As a matter of fact, we were using my vehicle. We were going to share the expenses. So it wasn't like I had to come up with all the money, but I didn't have no money. I had nothing. I just was believing. I was leaving what's behind and I was because so you understand, for those of you may say, well, why were you moving if you didn't have the money? Blah, 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 blah. Well, because I felt, now understand this, from however you flow, I felt an unction, I felt a call, I felt a pull to move to Arizona. I didn't just show up like, matter of fact, I had said years before, I'm never moving to that place. It is freaking hot. I came here for a conference and I had to pass through here to go to Cottonwood. I said, oh heck no, it's too hot there. I'm never moving there. And that was about 10 years prior, I think, if that long. But fast forward, work with me, y'all. I'm creative. I have 55,000 things happening at the same time. And I'm back. Okay, so a few days before it was time to go, I was working with this agency to take care of people who couldn't take care of themselves, pretty much. And I was kind of in and out of working with the agency because when it comes to 9 to 5 type things, I'm kind of in and out.
Yes, Lord.
And that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that. But things I've always get taken care of. So stay with me. You'll hear more of the journey. But this particular story relates to those 3 days before. The agency didn't just call the company. The agency called me about an exclusive private client that is very skeptical and very private about people from the outside taking care. Well, when I got in there and found out who it was, I knew why. These people were, where the camera at? Where the camera at on me? This right here? They were everybody say multi, probably billionaire. Because the things that they own, if I named the places, you would know them. So they had mune, they had moolah, they had dinero, they had cheese. What's the other words we use? They had bank.
Yeah, bank. That's a good one.
And so they called me to take care of this family because they said, oh, we can trust you. You won't go in there and steal folks' stuff.
Yeah.
What?
Thank goodness for some people.
You was a little slow with that answer. You're like, yeah.
I was thinking about the opposite. Like, ooh, some people go in there.
I'm messing.
Not good.
So I went that first day. They were very cold and very looking at me like, what is this doing up in here? They were looking at me like, we don't know her. We don't know this chick. Why is she in here? So I went in. I was very cordial, because y'all know I can talk to them. When you don't like me, I really sometimes feel like, wait a minute now, we're not doing that. So I went in, I talked to her. They got a little bit warmer by the time the end of the night came. She still was very standoffish. This is the wife, because she's had a lot of bad experience. So the next night I came, and then they requested me to come back. And then I played for her. I still believe in fairy tales and wishing wells.
Yeah.
I played that song.
Yeah.
I played that song, and she stood at the kitchen. I remember us leaning down at the kitchen table, and she just looked like, oh my God, like who is in my house? And what is this person capable of?
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything. She was very quiet. She just kind of looked, but I knew. I said, I got her heart just based on the music opened her. And when it was time to leave, she was sad. And she started asking me questions. What are you going to do? You sing so beautifully, you need to be all over the world, da-da-da-da-da. I said, yeah, girl, I'm trying to make that happen. Hello? And so as that process went on, it came to the end of me dealing with that family. And now, keep in mind, she's not allowed to do this. You have to go, everything, all money has to come through the agency. She comes and gives me an envelope. She gives me an envelope, and in that envelope, it was a card, and she wished me, you know, the best on my journey, and that my singing career would explode and all these things. And what y'all think she gave me? Exactly what I needed for the trip.
Look at that.
That was like the day before.
That's beautiful. I had forgotten some of that, actually.
Me too.
Like, oh my goodness.
Because honey, we got stories.
Oh,
I got
wow.
stories, and I know Shay got stories.
Wow.
And then together, because she's been so much a part of, which I don't think I told you guys, that she, did I tell them that you were my manager or was manager? Anyway. So that's my story about believing and leaving and then cleaving to something much greater than myself. Because was that scary? Hell yeah, that was scary. Does that make, I got in the car with, I didn't have, now keep in mind now, this was a very, 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 very wealthy person. So that doesn't mean that she gave me thousands of dollars. No, not even 1,000. It gave me enough to believe to the next place in order to get to Arizona.
Yeah.
So that's how I got here.
That's beautiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've forgotten all about that. Man, what a journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and it's so many things that's why I think the show is important. Mm-hmm. It's not just for me to tell a whole bunch of stories about what happened to me. It's for me to talk about something because I represent many.
Right.
I think there are a lot of people out there believing for a dream and have an aspiration, and they feel like, you know, how do I make this happen? Or as they say, 3 feet from gold. Mm-hmm. You know, just before you quit. Mm-hmm. My aunt tells me all the time, don't quit, because right before you quit. Mm-hmm. What just happened this week? Remember, I was feeling that as an artist.
Oh, right.
And tell them the process you took me through.
And then I came into you.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting ready to leave. I think I was getting ready to go to the store or something, and you were sitting on the couch. And I can't remember exactly the conversation, honestly, but I do remember it just telling you can't quit.
You looked at me, and I didn't tell her.
You cannot quit. This is not the end right here. You've got to keep on going. So I began to just, whatever came up in me, just like the moment about explaining believe, how that just came up, things began to come up, and I just began to speak it to you, just speak it. Like, let me just throw this and give this to her, give this to her, give this to her, as she sits here.
And I was like, could you leave, please?
Yeah, she's like, can you please go?
Overwhelming. Because what was happening,
I can't.
because she knows, she has a coaching practice, and so she was walking me through some of those methods of letting your unbelief, the stuff that I hadn't left, come up. And I can remember I was coughing, I was yawning, I felt heat, I felt overwhelmed, and it was like she was just standing there in front of me as a symbol of letting go and coming into the next place. And I was feeling sick. I remember I was also dealing with some sickness, and that next morning I remember getting up in the middle of the night, as I do a lot, writing, creating, listening, working on things. And I told you the next day that feeling of sickness had lifted. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But the sickness and the unbelief, because people may say, what were you going to quit? Because as an artist, as a creative, I don't really consider myself an artist per se. I say as a creatress, one who creates according to what I hear, which is sometimes not, it doesn't really gel with popular belief. And so I have to do things outside of the box. And sometimes that makes it where I'm the leader, I'm the one that's have to feel what it feels like to go first. And so that feeling like sometimes, the money's not lining up with this vision, the people aren't lining up, all the things that kind of come with when you're saying, okay, I'm walking this out. And I was like, man, forget it. I just need to go do something normal, do something regular, because this is hard. And I was like, I'm just never going to work. I'm just never going to get to the platform. So I go through those thoughts. So be clear, y'all. I go through this too. And I didn't tell Shay anything. She just sensed it, and boom.
And how you feel today?
I still believe in fairy tales and wishing wells. The other part of the song, I didn't tell them. I still believe that life is good and everything turns out like it should. It's all working for your good if you let it and believe. You just believe.
Can they still find that video on YouTube?
Yes.
It is still
you
on
can
there.
find that.
So yeah, you guys should look at it. It's powerful.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And we'll have it down in the link so you can look at it and take it in. It's beautiful. It's a whole the visual of it is beautiful, just as beautiful as the words. And
Yeah.
my soul sister manager is the one that put that together, invested in that, made that happen. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's my
because
family.
even what I'm remembering is that time. I don't know how long ago it was, but I had a dream, and a dream that you were. It was like you were singing, and it was multitudes of all kind of children, adults, whatever. They were following you. I woke up and like, oh, it's like a Pied Piper. I had this dream about a Pied Piper, but it actually was Lisa, and you're singing in that dream, and that was many years ago.
Yeah.
And that, I don't even know if that was before I did the thing to call you up. Even then, it's been little nuggets all along the way, you know.
They don't know about you calling me up.
Oh, well, they'll find out in one of the episodes. You stay tuned. Hey, it's a lot to this.
Can't tell everything. You'll have to tell
Right.
the story of how I stopped music. I quit music for about 8 years, and yeah, there was a thing that she did to get me back into music. We'll tell you more about that though. But you have anything else you want to share?
Well, just I'm so thankful, like that, being able to actually move forward, because the encouragement that has been for me with you has been as I chose to be in the essence of who I am, and not always understanding it, and not always wanting it, but knowing it was there, and it's like just bubbling there in me, that you were an encourager to tell me to keep going, to keep moving forward. Okay, well, what are you sensing? What is going on? You know, sometimes I'm like, don't ask me what's going on again. again and again. So,
Don't ask me what's going on again.
And my life has progressed. I've had a great life. I appreciate all the things and what is before me. I don't know all of that. I'm so thankful for our relationship, friendship, you know, and how even the times when people have misconstrued our friendship, that it's been like they go, well, I don't know how you can have a friend and then not be that intimate. And people would come up and ask me, are y'all like, you know, I'm like, this is my good friend. She's like a daughter, friend, sister.
That's my mama's sister friend.
So,
But
no.
I get how why they would think that and feel that, because it's such a connection. But let me tell you guys why it's threads of connection. So I think people don't think of how we come into this life. So we say we're spiritual, and you know you came from somewhere else, but you don't think. Did you ever think you like came in here with soul families? I wonder if people think that they came into this dimension with a soul family. And Shay is definitely, when you talk about soul mates or soul connections, we put it as it has to be romantic, but I understand that soul mates or soul family, whatever you want to call it, connections, are people that are connected to your destiny. And so check this out. My mother's name is Maddie. Ask her what her mother's name is.
Maddie.
My dad's last name is Henderson. Ask her what her family name.
On my dad's side, their names are Henderson.
Okay. My on the other side of my family, they're Carters. Ask her what hers.
Ooh, on my stepdad's side, who I grew up with, is Carter. It's getting
So we're so connected. Because let me tell you something. The way I grew up, I was very, very protected by my family. They still act like that. I mean, to the degree, y'all, that when I called myself going to be engaged, they didn't went and They took the man through it. They took the
Yeah,
man.
she was engaged, y'all, at one point. Yes,
And-
that's a story.
That's a whole story. They went to the FBI, police reports, followed them. There's like, I tell you what, if you're gonna be with Lisa, the baby, they would call me, because I'm the youngest. If you're gonna be with her, you gotta come through all of us. And I said, oh man, bless his heart. And so I guess the point that I'm making is that when it comes to these, I don't know what the point I was gonna make.
I don't know,
It
but
was gonna
whatever
be
it
good.
is, just keeps talking.
Wait,
Whatever.
what was I gonna say?
Let them catch up.
Oh gosh. So I was going to say something though about these connectors. Okay, so this connection is it. I think it was already preordained, predestined, because the protection. I was going to say my mother. Everybody was very protective, and my mother, she could smile and be cordial. My mother was a powerhouse, but when it comes to people being around me, she just she could side eye them. When she walked in the door when she and her husband walked in the door. This is what my mother said. She had never met them. Baby! And I said, what? Okay. And not only that, my mother gave up her room for you guys to sleep in.
Yes,
If y'all know how
yes,
black folks is with fried chicken and fish. So the fried chicken was for the general population. But the fish, which was a little bit more of an expense, was for those that were special. Guess who got the fish? These two. This one over here. And so
the cobbler.
Yes, and the peach cobbler, anytime she wanted it. And so my mother had love for her at the beginning. It was almost it's not almost, I feel like she did. I felt like she knew when she met them that I would be in their care and that she would be leaving. Because not long after, a year or two after that, my mother passed away. And they had to, by force or by love, whatever, I made them become like parents because it was a huge loss. And I had 2 sets of parents and they all passed away. And so,
They did.
yeah.
I felt connected to them also. I mean, it just was a no-brainer. It just felt like an easy flow just to step in there and just love them. It felt like a mother.
Yeah.
It was just really wonderful. I miss her.
Yeah. So
And Dad.
we're
Dad
connected.
Henderson.
We're connected.
Oh my God, he was awesome.
Yeah. So the connection, it runs deep. And so I've just learned I understand people have their thoughts, their positions, their opinions, because you can't understand what you've never seen. And more
That's
so
true.
what you've never experienced.
That's true.
If you've never had someone that's with you through thick and thin, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and it's not a spouse.
Disagreements
and then reconnection. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, because we are 2 strong women with strong opinions.
Yes.
And Kimberly too. We all 3 moved here and made a decision to be like that. We would help each other and be in support of each other. And that support looks different
But
at
that
different
threefold?
times. Yep, a 3-fold cord is not easily broken. All right, so we want to thank our sponsors today, specifically our sponsor, Vocal Flow Universe. And if you want to know more about that sponsor, you just go to vocalflowuniverse.com. And the link will also be down below or across the screen. However, y'all know what to do. Well, thank you so much, Shay, for being a part of this. I guess it's a show. I guess
my
it's like
pleasure.
a hangout.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being in this space and sharing your energy and your wisdom and, just being you. Because, again, I say you are the epitome and the essence of love. So it's a nice visual to have. And so, you guys, this was amazing. I hope it was amazing for you as well. Stay tuned for the next show. As you can tell, I got a lot of stories. A lot of things to share. And the next show, so just to give you kind of an idea of how I flow, we'll probably be talking about my songs, because my songs are often related to a story. So we just took the song Believe today and made the episode about Believe. The next episode, it's probably, I have a song called Free, not Yourself, but Free Yourself. Free Ya, Y-A, self. So that's probably what we're going to talk about the next episode, and we'll be able to share the song as well. So thank you so much for being with us. Again, Lisa Hightower Vibes, and I look forward to seeing you guys on next week. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving y'all.